if I were to sit here and list all the potential twin flames I've had in my lifetime, we'd be here a while. The term twin flame is relatively new in mass media, and it's new to me entirely. I only heard of it within the past couple of years through TikTok, Megan Fox,
twin flame,
and then seeing it turn into a big keyword within the spiritual community. Throughout my life experience, I've definitely had my rendezvous with romantic interests that I would have called a twin flame if I knew that term at the time. The benefit to learning about this term in my ripe old age is that I'm able to look at it from the lens of my sage experience and reflect on the perspective of my younger self who would have undoubtedly believed in twin flames. And I can compare it to my perspective now, which doesn't believe in them at all. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I just want to preface that if you're in a twin flame connection, I'm really not here to shit on your feelings, hopes, and dreams. I'm just going to share the thought evolution of how I used to believe in twin flames to not believing in them. If you're into your twin flame experience, by all means, live that arc out. But if you're looking to release that narrative, which you just might be because you clicked on this video, then stick around. Number 1, you aren't connecting with them, you're connecting with yourself and using them as your point of attention. One of the biggest attractions to the twin flame narrative is the connection you're feeling with another person. When we experience that, it feels pretty euphoric, and you can call it dopamine, oxytocin, or whatever. Regardless, falling in love and connecting with another person feels good. But what we don't realize is that we're constantly having that experience through a million other outlets every minute of every day in small and large ways that have nothing to do with another person. That experience of love, euphoria, and connection really just boils down to what you're focusing on that causes you to align with yourself, source, or whatever name for God essence you prefer. So let's break that down. We're all little pieces of God, right? I feel comfortable with the term God because I don't apply any denomination to it, but if you're resisting this term, then, substitute it. But essentially, I believe God's true essence is unconditional love and light. And as little pieces of God, that's our true nature. The problem is that throughout our life, we build up experiences, viewpoints, samskaras, and play out some narrative or karma that creates resistance and blocks our acceptance of our true selves, which is unconditional love and light. So this is going to circle back to twin flames, but I'm going to elaborate on this a little more. Because when you build up resistance, you're essentially limiting your receptivity to love and light to things that carry the least resistant thought. For example, if you really enjoyed playing with Legos as a kid, that enjoyment was the alignment with love and light, aka God stuff. And your parents, friends, or society as a whole might have conditioned you by saying you'll make a great engineer one day. Now, let's say your friends, parents, or society kept telling you that because you have an engineering mind, you're not very artistic. Society loves to dichotomize things like that. We see it all the time with English versus math, art versus logic, smart versus pretty, etc. So as you grew up, you built this resistance towards art because you aligned yourself with engineering. But here's the kicker. It's the same shit. The way one person taps into love and light through engineering is exactly the same as another person taps into love and light through art. It comes from the exact same source. Literally, source. So here's how it relates to the twin flame. Building romantic connections is undoubtedly a huge part of the human experience, and it's also a big way people release resistance and experience love and light, all that juicy God stuff. The reason you have a deeper connection with one person over another really depends on the resistance that you've built up. If you spend your whole life thinking, I only like tall, thin brunettes, then you're going to be much more open to someone who fits that characteristic than if a short, chubby blonde person comes around. Now, I just want to insert here that there's nothing wrong with preferences. After all, I typically prefer partners who are supportive and understanding and not manipulative and abusive, but sometimes we get caught up in our preferences, looking for partners that satisfy egoic desires versus placing our attention on the values and qualities we really need. It's just something to reflect on. But let's continue. So the reason why you're having this experience with someone you've deemed as your twin flame is because you opened yourself up to love and light. They're just the person you are paying attention to when you did it. This means you can have that same experience, that same euphoric high with anyone, so long as your resistance dissolves. To expand on that, you can have that same experience with anything. It doesn't have to be a romantic connection because it's all God stuff. The question just becomes what you place your attention on that aligns you with love and light, which is really just the larger part of you. 2. You deserve better than a runner-chaser dynamic that leads nowhere. Another huge part of the twin flame journey is the concept of the runner-chaser dynamic and the balance between masculine and feminine energies. We see this when one person is more interested in the other, embodying chaser masculine energy versus someone who's more of the receiver, embodying runner feminine energy. Or what? Ever. I could do a whole separate video on dissolving relationship archetypes and dichotomies that limit or cause resistance to our acceptance of love and light, but that's another day because essentially the whole premise of this concept boils down to achieving inner balance so you can come into union with your twin flame. Now, the underlying foundation of this concept is really noble in a lot of ways. It delves into finding some sort of balance and harmony between these internal energies, and these energies, though our concept of them is often limited to linear duality, are a huge part of creation. In the past, I've definitely fallen into the trap of relentless self-improvement where I sought to improve upon who I am, and that subsequently made me feel like I wasn't good enough exactly as I am right now in this moment. I also externalized this development and fell into the trap of thinking there must be something wrong with me if only I were better, more healed, more balanced, more masculine, more feminine, then I'd be in union with my twin flame. Or even worse, I accepted the runner-chaser dynamic in my supposed twin flame connection and thought it was normal or natural or a part of the process. It was a huge breakthrough in my awareness when I questioned why I was settling for someone who's not that into me. More so, I realized that I don't want someone who's going to run away from me, nor do I want to run away from someone who's supposed to be the love of my life. I realized that I deserve a partner who wants to be with me, who's going to be open and vulnerable and be as committed to me as I am to them. And I wasn't going to settle for someone who doesn't show their feelings or who runs from connection. Now, I'm going to generalize this for a minute because a lot of the time the girl is the chaser and the boy is the runner in these twin flame situations, or at least that's how it was for me when I was having these feelings. So I just want to make a very pointed statement to girls in this situation and frankly to my past self. Queen, you deserve fucking better. And you know what? You can get it. Don't waste one more breath on a guy who doesn't give you the time of day. Sit and think about what you want in a partner, not a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, but in a partner who you can go through life with and who will build something magical with you. And then become that for yourself. Because once you do, a person will come into your life. But the best part is, you won't fucking care because you'll have completed yourself. And the person will just be a cherry on top. They're not the Sunday queen, you are. 3, healthy relationships don't trigger your fight or flight response. At the height of my twin flame experiences, I was living on a high of instability. I was constantly in my head interpreting every slight action or lack thereof as a he loves me not, daisy chain from hell. But here's the thing. A big premise of the twin flame narrative is the idea that your twin flame is meant to trigger your inner child wounds so you can heal them. And this brings us back to our first point. You're not connecting with them, you're connecting with yourself. And frankly, it isn't another person's job to bring about your healing. It's life's. Life is on a mission to help you remember who you truly are. Life brings some shit into your awareness so you can heal from it and come back into union with the larger part of you. That other person is just a decoy. The only way that you can heal from your trauma, samskaras, etc. is by it coming up into your awareness. So experiencing these energies isn't a bad thing at all, but I just want to ask you, do you want the supposed love of your life to be the person who triggers you? Because I want the love of my life to be someone who lifts me up, who believes in me and heals me. Let life be the bad guy for shitty experiences and feelings, not your partner. It wasn't until getting into a relationship, a healthy one, that I saw just how I was really feeding emotional instability through projected romanticism. When I met my partner, there was nothing triggering my fight or flight response. And at first, because my whole ass equilibrium was out of balance, I thought that he was boring or that I just wasn't that into it or whatever. And I was dead ass wrong because I was holding a very secure person to unhealthy standards that I had developed through an insecure attachment style. Healthy relationships aren't supposed to trigger the shit out of you. And it took me a really long time to feel fed up with triggering myself by settling for flighty, unstable relationships. When I was younger, I definitely believed in soulmates and the idea of a fated relationship, and I still do, but I've reined that philosophy in because the only true soulmate, twin flame, and lifelong partner we can have in life is ourselves. Yes, we can have romantic relationships and beautiful love experiences, but we'll never truly know happiness until we find that within ourselves. I spent almost 13 years single, determined to become my own soulmate before getting into a relationship, and learning how to fulfill myself was the best investment I could have ever made. Because now I'm in the most healthy, loving relationship of my life, and I do feel like I found my soulmate, not only in someone else, but in myself. It's a cliche as old as time, but if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Stupid. I'm just kidding. The cliche I want to say is you can't love someone else with an empty cup. You can only fill your own and let the excess spill over onto the world. This video is really a big sister pep talk to my younger self because I definitely went through my fair share of relationship drama, so I totally get it. I would love to hear your experience in the comments. If you related to this at all, it was a lot of fun to make this video and talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time. So if you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing to let me know if I should make more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.